Stratocaster, 1976. Serial number 7670577. It's been modified over the years. I think everybody did that back in the 1980s. We all wanted that super distortion bridge pickup. And the problem with this one, I noticed when Joe was here. Joe's the customer. Actually, I made a video of his other guitar, one of his guitars. He has a lot of guitars. I think this is about the 6th guitar that Joe has brought me, so thank you so much, Joe, if you see this. These tone pots aren't working. There's a 3-way switch, which is a little odd. I don't know if the 1976s came with a 5-way or a 3-way, but we kind of like thinking about getting it back to its original function as far as the electronics goes. We're going to open this up and do some testing and stuff to see what's going on. Right now the neck pickup is not getting any sound. Actually, maybe I'll just plug it in here. Got a lot of buzz going on up here. Probably the usual ski slope is going on. I'll show you how I check for the ski slope syndrome. Also go about showing you how I test all the electronic components today. Here's a look at the headstock. The nut slots are a little bit low on the D and the G. You can hear it metal on metal right here at the 1st fret. Hear that buzz? So we'll give these a listen. Bridge pickup. Sounds like sounds like a coil tap going on there. But these tone knobs don't do anything to the bridge. Middle. It is. I do recommend getting you one of these if you take a lot of guitars apart. Goes to the righty tighty or the lefty loosey just by turning your wrist. So the neck pickup is not connected. This is how you test for it. You've probably seen this already. Hook up the multimeter. If you have just a ohm meter, that's fine. Set it to like 200k ohms and see what kind of reading you get. 5.7. That means that pickup works. Hot diggity doggers. That is good news. Let's see if we can get a reading on the middle pickup. We're getting 5.7 ohms on the middle pickup. You can also test it. You don't have to test it at the end of the lead wires. You can test it right here where the lead wires are soldered. And we know that this daddy works. That's a 13.9 ohms. Wow. So all 3 pickups work. That is good news because my original plan was to utilize these 3. Get a new pick guard. Put the old one off to the side. It's really not worth anything now that it's been ruined. Okay, maybe it hasn't been ruined, but it's been tampered with. This pot's been replaced. These 2 are the original. These are original pots right here. I put the lead wires on the lugs. Their pots have 3 lugs. I put the red one over here and the black one over here. You want to make sure that your alligator clips don't touch the ground chassis here. You can bend these so that they don't. So the middle resistor same thing, 0.3 mega ohms. We can use these 2. We'll just need a new capacitor, a new 5-way, a new pot here, 250k. This may have been a 500k, doesn't matter. But we can get rid of this pickup, utilize these 3, and we'll be in business. these two pots weren't connected anymore, but they're still the original ones, which is really cool. That big, humongous cap. The little LED light, that's not connected to anything. The little toggle switch, of course, was for the coil tapping on the DiMarzo. I don't know if that's a super distortion or if there's another DiMarzo pickup that was really common back then. It's probably a super distortion. Tom Schultz from Boston always liked to use a DiMarzo super distortion, so that alone tells you that they're cool. Tom Schultz also had a P90 pickup in his neck position on his Les Paul, and he stripped the finish off the top to make it sound more natural, I guess. It's kind of like John Lennon did with his Casino. You got to strip the finish off. This finish is never going to be stripped off. This is polyester, and it's hard as a rock. And it doesn't look like it's aged much over the years because they just were built to last. They're amazing instruments, this polyester stuff. I did a bass video a couple of videos ago that was an ash body, 1971. Pretty cool. I think we're going to need a new jack. You heard that? That awful sound that it made. I learned from Dan's book. In Dan's book, the very last chapters are applying finishes. There's a whole part in the book about finishes. He didn't leave it out. Finish where he recommends reading these other books. Here's a list of great books. All that have been invaluable to me at one time or another. If you can find one piece of information in each book, you've gotten your money's worth. One of the books that is in there is called Understanding Wood Finishes. And it's one of the books that I bought because it was one of the subjects that I didn't understand at all. When I was growing up in the 80s and 90s, I didn't understand wood finishes at all, not one bit. Since I have my soldering pen out, I thought I would clean them up right now with my solder sucker. That's right, folks. I don't know if you've ever seen a solder sucker in action, but this is what it looks like. You warm up the solder, and you hit the button, and it sucks all that old solder up into the sucker. There it is, folks. All the old solder sucked into the solder sucker. That would be the Sterling solder sucker, static free. Stumac sells these. I don't know if it's this brand, but why don't you put the phone down right now and go out and get you one? Anyways, Joe called back. He texted me and he said he wanted to make sure that all my prices included the touch-up work on the neck with the polyester chips and stuff. And I said, yes, it does. So we're going to have a whole lot of fun when the pickguard gets here. So it's hard sometimes to hold the screw in place because the spring is usually pushing it. What I do is you can grow out this thumbnail just a skosh so that you can hold it there, and then get your small screwdriver in. Now keep holding it till you know the threads are starting to go together. Once you know it's together, and you're together, and we're all together. Next, I do finish repair. I take some naphtha and clean it up. Clean up that maple. It's got years of finger grime on it. I have a little bit of barkeeper's friend. Whenever I want to do some light bleaching, barkeeper's friend can do it. I'm going to make a little paste with the barkeeper's friend and some water. And we'll just plop it on there for a few minutes. Okay. Got a really fine brush right here. Just drop in a little bit of vintage amber. I digress here. I think the edge here is yellowed over time. I'm just taking a little razor blade and I'm going to scrape it back. Maybe I should sand it a little bit. I think I'll do some sandpaper. A little bit of 220 grit. Kind of see. I think I'll put some glu+boost down there now. Okay, this is the thin glu+boost fill-in finish. Oh boy, I've got a hair on there. Hopefully that hair's stuck on there good and it won't fall off onto the guitar. Okay. Give it another spritz. So there it is. Haven't done any sanding or polishing yet, but we've filled in several spots along the frets. Mainly that spot there. And it's all filled in, just slightly proud of the surrounding surface. And it won't focus that close, but anyways, focus. There it is. The color's okay. Once it's smooth and it feels good on the thumb, then we'll be all set. Just got rid of that ski slope and sanded and polished. Now those babies are looking good. Nice. That spot looks horrible. Maybe I should fill that in. This tool is called a graver. What I'm using is a little pick right now. That's right down to the bare wood. That looks better. It's not completely cured yet, but that's 2 applications of the glu+boost Fill and Finish Thin super glue with like 4 little light mists of the accelerator. We claim guitar progress, not guitar perfection. Look at the brutality that was used when they cut away the inside of the body to get those humbuckers and stuff. That's kind of irreversible. But luckily it's hidden by the pick guard. I'm getting a little closer to perfection now. I've got these little micro mesh pads with some fine sandpaper wrapped around it so I can get in here and go in between the frets. Remember, you do not have to go with the grain on the polyester finishes. Polyester doesn't have grain. The wood beneath it has grain, but we're never going to touch that wood. That was 1000 grit. Alright. And here's the final 2 pads. 12,000 grit. I don't have to spend all day on something like this. This is progress, not perfection. Back to the topic of books. One of the books that Dan Earlywine recommended in his guitar repair book was this Shatton Designs diagram book. And I've used this over the years. It's never failed me. It's always worked great. The way that they tie the capacitor together, jumping from the leg of this capacitor over to the other pot, allows there to be only one capacitor in the circuit rather than having an individual one on each tone pot, which I thought was pretty cool. I used the braided wire, the pushback wire on this to keep it kind of more vintage. I also used the non-insulated for the ground wires that jump across the 3 pots. These pickups don't have the braided type of wire, but you can see the lead wire from each pickup is the red wire, except on this one's a white, and those go to the corresponding feet on the switch, and then these 2 are jumped together. That's kind of just like a jumper wire, and then these ones go to your pots. These 3 go to the pots, and then all the grounds come right over here to the back of the volume knob. And the very, very, very last thing I did was put on these 2 little cable ties. Keep the wires in a harness. Kind of bundle them up. That way when I put the pick guard on, it doesn't give me too much fuss, hopefully. I was reading up a little bit on the 76 Stratocaster, and I read that 76 was the first year of the 5-way switch. But they didn't come out with the 5-way until halfway through the year. So that would tell you this one's an early 1976 model. I got poked by the bloody G-string. I hate when people poke me with their G-strings. These 2 slots I filled in with baking soda and super glue. folks, that was a lot of fun. There's the culprit right there, that little ding at the 7th fret. Filled it in with glu+boost. I also got rid of that ski slope over there. And we got us a 5-way switch with the new pick guard and 3 single coils. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-way switch. Looking good. Let's give it a listen. Neck. Middle. And the bridge. Here's the number 2 position right here. And the number 4 position.